Today's guest has turned her own lived experience into a lifeline for hundreds of families. Joline George is a mother to a special needs child, and from the rawness of that journey, she built something extraordinary, a charity called Help You Cope, now supporting autism carers across southwest Sydney. This is a conversation about turning pain into purpose, and about the isolation so many carers feel, and about what it really takes to show up for your child every single day while finding a way to still show up for yourself. Joline, welcome to Still Standing, Still Speaking. Joline, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for joining me on Still Standing, Still Speaking.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here.
Take us back to the beginning. What was the moment you realised your family's journey was going to look different than you'd planned? And how did you cope with that shift?
So the exact moment when we realised our life was going to look completely different was when the paediatrician said it out loud and basically confirmed what we already had a hint about, but hearing it confirmed and at the highest level that my son has autism level 3, it shook us.
Of course, that would have been life-changing.
It was shocking. Like I said, we had a hint, but when someone confirms it and says he's got the highest level, first of all, you're freaking out thinking, what does that mean? Like what, highest level, like how much is he going to be capable of doing? What supports will he need? A million thoughts went through our heads. And I felt like after she said that, everything was a blur. I couldn't even concentrate on what she was saying.
Of course. As a mother, that's, your first instinct, right? Like, why my child? What's wrong with my child? How did you, what were some of the symptoms or the signs, that's the word, of for you to go and initially go and get him checked out?
So it was just before he turned 2. And my husband actually noticed, and it's funny because I'm with him all day. He's at work, but he noticed because he'd come home and he'd be excited to see him. And then all of a sudden he withdrew. It's like he went in his own little world. He stopped smiling, laughing. His emotions disappeared. And he wouldn't notice when his dad would come home, things like that. And he's like, this is not right. Like, I feel like he's changed. Something's happening, And he was bubbly. He'd look into the camera. All of a sudden he wasn't responding to his name. And I thought, is it a hearing thing? But then his favorite show would come on, he'd run down. I'm like, no. He wouldn't look at us in the eye. He wouldn't look at the camera when we say, look here. It just completely changed and withdrew. That was the biggest sign that we seen and said, we need to go to see a pediatrician.
So prior to that, he was doing all those things.
All the milestones, babbling, looking at the camera when we say smile, playing with his brother, completely different child. It was like someone took not his soul, but his personality, everything out of him. It just, he just sat there like not vegetable, but he was very withdrawn, like he's in his own world.
How old was he when he got the diagnosis?
He got it when he was around, I'd say 18 to 20 months, but I think from 14 months, my husband started noticing it's like it was me. Yeah.
How old's your son now?
He's nearly 11.
Oh, wow.
Long time ago. Yeah. So I've been doing this for a while.
Kind of moment really changes you. And I think a lot of our audience can resonate with that and relate to that.
There might be people out there now that are on the border of going to get a diagnosis or received one or, even different situations, just to know that your life's going to be different from then on. And you just know, and not knowing the future, that fear of what does this mean? Yeah, like what do we do? That was scary. And it was just fear, a lot of fear and overwhelm, very overwhelming.
I guess because you expect your child to develop typically.
And you've imagined your whole life, like growing up, you're going to get married, have kids, and you imagine them going through the normal milestones you went through. Like you graduated from high school, got married, all those things. And to know that now all of a sudden my son might not have a chance to do this because if he needs lifelong support or depending on obviously, how he develops, it's shocking.
And that's what it looks like for you, being at a level 3 is.
Yeah, look, because he's so, you never know the future. Anything can change. But with my son, he's level 3. So he's nonverbal and he's nearly 11. He's still in nappies. He doesn't understand as well, so he's also globally delayed. So it's not just autism. So it's hard to imagine that he's going to live an independent life when he's like this at 11. Obviously, with technology these days, you never know.
What pushed you from just surviving your own situation to actually founding Help You Cope?
I think it was once I was able to talk about it, because I didn't actually speak about it for 1 year. Well, I couldn't tell anyone. We didn't even tell family, friends.
Why?
It's a question that many people wonder, and I actually wondered this before I was in this situation. Like, why do people do that? Is it a secret? Like, why can't you just say it? Like, I used to think why, right? And I can tell you why now, because I was in that situation. The reason why is a few things, and everyone's different, but for me, I was so scared of my son being judged. I did not want anyone to look at him and say, like, oh, he's got autism or he's autistic. Like, I felt like they'd look at my son like he's something less, and that broke me into pieces. That was my biggest reason, actually, because I just thought, no, if they look at him as just Mr. J, I call him, is Mr. J, right?
Love that.
Yeah. But if you look at him and it's like, oh, he's got that label now, it's like, oh, there's something wrong with him or he's less, or that was my biggest fear. So for that reason, and the other reason, well, that was the biggest reason for me. I just didn't want people to look at him differently or to start judging, things like that. So because of that fear, I didn't want to tell anyone, because I just thought I wanted to keep him safe from that label.
We wanted to wasn't kept him. Yeah. But isn't it sad to think that that's how we have to think because of the fickle world we live in? Because
The way people
people aren't accepting if you have, something like what your son has or a mental illness. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it's not there, right?
Yeah, that's right. And, he might have challenges, but he's still this beautiful, kind, friendly, funny, happy boy. So, and that's the biggest reason why I kept quiet. And I actually made, and I'm sure other people do this, I made a fake Facebook account so that on Facebook, they can see when you like things or follow a group. I made a fake Facebook account so no one knew I was following autism pages. That's how secretive I was, because I didn't want anyone to know until I was ready to talk about it.
That breaks my heart for you.
Yeah, it was hard. And also, you can't emotionally talk about it without crying. So I didn't want to talk about it, because if I did, I'd get emotional, because until I was fully not just okay with it, but understanding of it and okay with the whole situation. It's like you have to go through your emotions, and then once you're comfortable with it, then you can be comfortable talking about it. So I think that's the thing too. Emotionally, people are not ready.
Fair enough. And what made you go in the direction of starting your incredible foundation, charity, Help You Cope?
Yeah, so what started was I started to realize, because I was obviously keeping it secret or not talking about it because I was just worried. And then I'd notice small conversations I was having with people. So I'd be at the shops and I used to hide it, and they'd be like, oh, he's not talking yet. And I'm like, no. And then he got past 2 and I'm like, I can't keep saying he's just not talking yet. Like, it's a bit obvious, that he's babbling or making different noises and he's not talking, and they're looking at him like he should be talking. So people would question it. And then the more I started opening up about it, like strangers would ask and I'd be like, oh, he's got autism. They're like, oh, my granddaughter does. And, there's this support and that support. And I thought, oh, it's actually not as bad as I thought. I was also worried, and maybe it wasn't that bad. Not every person's going to judge you, right?
Because you sit in that shame and that guilt. And, this is what the podcast is all about, speaking up and saying,
That's right.
talking out loud, because otherwise you're just going to be sitting there alone in your own silence.
You are.
And why should anyone have to live through that or feel like it?
There's always someone going through the same thing. Always. Doesn't matter what situation. Your situation, mine, there's hundreds, thousands of people in that situation. You know till you talk, right? And they come out and say, me too. So I started to notice that the more I'll speak out, the more people say me too, or I know someone, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is actually helping me more than the other way around. So then I broke my silence and I was able to talk about it. And I thought, now that I'm okay with it, I can imagine how many other mums or carers feel alone. And I thought, I'd love to be able to even just start a blog or something, just to help others, that to realize they're not alone,
That's
right?
And it's your healing as well.
It is. You do. You feel, don't you? When you connect with those people, you're not alone either then. So I started an Instagram page, like not even many followers, just started a page. I thought, let's just, the blog that everyone does, just journal our life. And then I just put a calling out one day on my stories and said, does any mum want to catch up that's in the same situation in Southwest Sydney? And I had 3 mums say yes. And we met up at our local McDonald's, just with a coffee and connected and like hit it off straight away because we're all in the same boat. We couldn't stop talking. And then all of a sudden they were telling their friends and other friends, and then it just grew. Just all these mums started coming to these catch ups that we're doing, I think weekly or fortnightly back then. And then yeah, and that's why I thought this is so needed. I realized how many were in the same boat and wanted to connect with like-minded carers. And that's what triggered me to start Help You Cope. I thought I need to turn this into something so I can fund it, so we can do more, have more resources for carers. And that's how it started.
I think that's incredible. Good on you for doing that.
you.
Good on you for being a voice and, helping not only yourself, but so many people out there.
Thank you.
And how long's your charity been in operation for now?
So 2009, we started as a group chat, and then from there, or support group, and since then, 2023, we became a charity. So 3 years as a charity, and since 2019, we just celebrated 7 years of Help You Cope the other day. So yeah,
That's fantastic. And do you have a platform that you could tell our audience about? Where they can come and find you and seek some help if anyone else is in your many other people's position.
Yeah, definitely. They can connect with us on our social media platforms. It's Help You Cope. And also, we've got a website if they want to check up upcoming events or register for support groups at helpyoucope.com.au. But that's where they can find us. And, our DMs are always open because we know that sometimes people don't want to come to a public place, like I said, especially at the beginning. If they feel overwhelmed or feel like they can't talk to others or don't want others to see them or know that they're even at a support group, they can just DM me and I'd be happy to chat to them and help them if they need resources or just to chat, anything like that. Yeah.
All right, listeners, Help You Cope. Go check them out. What does the autism carer community in Southwest Sydney need that isn't being talked about enough?
I think they need emotional support. We talk a lot about NDIS, therapies for the kids and all that, but the carer or the parent is the one holding everything, is the one running to all the appointments, is the one looking after them. And if they're not taken care of emotionally,
how can you take care of your son?
Thank you. Who's going to look after your kid? If you're not stable or you're not all there, like who's going to look after your child? You are so important to that child, So in Southwest Sydney, I think that is a big one. Like there's not enough emotional support for the carers. And then in Southwest Sydney, we've got the other barriers of cultural, diversity and the cultural expectations and a lot of taboo when it comes to special needs and language barrier.
Why is that? Because it's not recognised.
Do you know what it is? I think it's uneducated. So, in the country, or they've been taught a certain way. So, like, they grew up, their parents saying, there's no such thing or whatever, or they'll grow out of it, all that stuff. So, of course, that's going to come down each generation, right?
Of course.
We have the information we have now. So, especially I'm from Middle Eastern background. Middle East, thankfully my family understanding, but there's many that aren't, especially if they've got a language barrier, some don't know what autism is still till today. So imagine the mum that's going up to her family trying to explain to them, and she gets shut down. So then she doesn't get support for her child because she's not supported. So I think the support of, they really need support of information, resources, and also emotional support, and education.
Carers give so much to everyone else. What does coping actually look like for you now on the hard days?
There are a lot of hard days and sometimes we're barely coping. But for me these days, coping is realizing that you don't have to hold it all yourself. Using your resources, getting support. That support could look like asking friends or family for support. It could look like getting a counsellor, calling the parents' helpline, which I've done a couple of times, I'll admit. Because when you're there alone at home, even if hubby's at work or whatever, or even if you, have your mum around, but if they, you know, they won't get it at the level that you want them to get it. Sometimes it's important that when you feel really low or really down or feel like you've had a few hard days and you're struggling, to definitely reach out for help. And that helps me cope. So whether it's, like I said, Parents Line, New South Wales line, if you reach out to a counsellor, there's a lot of free services out there these days. And also asking for help. Like if someone offers to bring a meal over, don't say no or I'll be okay. Or if there's anything I can help, tell them what they can help with, you know, because sometimes it can really make a difference. And then maybe delegate things that others can do. Maybe looking after your child is your primary thing. They can't help with that because they're used to you. But other things like, you know what, if you can take my other son today because it's really bad at home, anything like that, you know, will really help. So not doing it on your own is a big one. And the other one is setting boundaries and saying no more. This is something I've struggled with a lot. I am a people pleaser, which many of us are, but realizing that I can't be there for everyone and I can't be everything all at the same time, right? Setting boundaries and saying no and having times where I will do nothing but just, you know, do something maybe I enjoy or things like that. I think those breaks, even when he's at school, things like that, and instead of doing the laundry, going to get a massage when normally you feel guilty.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, I hope you are looking after yourself and doing something for yourself, because self-care isn't selfish. It's survival.
Yeah.
You know, and especially what you're going through. You know, you need to take care of yourself, because if you're not functioning and if you're not good, how can you look after your son?
You're right. And I've noticed that, and I'm getting better at it. It's very hard for mums or carers, as you know, like you feel guilty. You're like, oh, I need to do this or that needs to get done or I need to cook a meal. But I'm getting better at it. But yeah, realizing that doing those things like will break it up, and when instead of being 99% capacity, like bringing it down a little. So then when something does happen, you're not losing it.
You're not so overwhelmed.
That's so overwhelmed, because not many people know, but carers are actually in fight or flight mode pretty much all the time. It is so hard because you've got your child's about to spill something, or they're going to have a meltdown. They're going to hit his head with his fist or things like that. You've got to stop things. There's so many things that you're constantly in. Like my heart rate, sometimes I'm like, how am I even alive? Like,
so you forget what calm feels like, basically.
Yeah. You don't know. Like I said, you can, even when they're at school, you think I'll have some time out, but you know what's coming. It's like home time. You got to go back. You can never, unless you're on a holiday, which is very hard for carers to do as well.
Yeah.
You can't fully let go and relax. So it's really hard. But if you try, it does help. So for me, coping, like I said, is even small things like trying to have a bit of time out or do things like that. It really helps.
Good on you. I think it's needed. You need to look after you too, right?
Yeah.
Because you're important.
That's right. We feel guilty, but then wouldn't you feel more guilty if you collapsed or ended up in hospital because you didn't go take care of your well-being, and then your child's got no one to look after them, and then everyone else has to try to step up? So I think if you think about it like that, you'll have less guilt.
I love that you're naming that, Jolene. We talk so much about the kids, but who's checking in on the carer? Jolene, if another mother, parent, was sitting where you are now, in those early, overwhelming days, what's the one thing you'd want them to know?
One thing I wish I knew, and I want every other carer who's in that situation now to know, is that you don't have to have it all figured out now. The first thing we want to do, and this is why it gets very overwhelming when we get that diagnosis, is where do I start? What support do I need to get? Where do I go?
Yeah.
It's okay to just pause, go through your emotions. I mean, you've come this long without getting support. It's okay if it takes a day, week, or month. It's okay.
Yeah.
As long as you, don't feel like in that one day, the supports will come. There's a lot of information out there now. There's resources. Everything's there. So you don't need to, as soon as you get that diagnosis, feel like I need to do everything now and book everything now. And it gets overwhelming, especially on Google. You try to research everything, and I mean everything.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you want to know, like, and you'll get very overwhelmed. So stay off Google first, deal with your emotions.
Yeah.
and realize that there is time and you will get the supports and needs. And there's places out there you can go to ask, like you can even come to us at Help You Cope, and ask what services are available and we can guide you. There's a lot of therapist places out there that know a lot about autism too, even childcares that, if there's other parents that they know that are in the same situation, they can ask them. But don't feel like you have to do it all at once, because that is what's going to overwhelm you and you'll feel like this is going to be a really hard life, when you will figure it all out and it will get easier.
Yeah, amazing. And do you have platforms on Help You Cope that these parents can reach out to, or any that you want to tell our audience about?
Yeah, so we run our supports only once a month, but
Yeah.
like I said, our socials are always open. We've got a phone number as well for Help You Cope on our website. So they can call or DM us anytime and we'll be happy to refer them to services or what we recommend, or, we're connected with a lot of therapists, with a lot of resource centers. So we're happy to help them if they need anything, any information. But yeah, there are resources out there that they can find, and they don't need to do it all at once, like I said. Yeah.
And not
one thing at a time.
That's right, and not feel alone.
Connect with groups. My big
Yeah.
thing is to connect with groups. There's a lot of Facebook groups that
Yeah.
people can connect with. If you don't want to go out there and you're more private, connect with a group online. There is so many autism groups now on Facebook, heaps. So connect with online, or if you want face-to-face, you can join those ones. But connect with others, even if you just follow pages to get information. There's a lot out there now, just so you feel less alone, and ask questions.
But before we go, can you just let everyone know, what is autism?
Sure. So autism is a lifelong neurodevelopment difference that someone experiences, and that affects how they communicate, how they interact with others, and also how they experience their environment. So things like processing disorder, sensory overload, could be social anxiety, communication as well. Some are non-speaking, or some struggle with different things in communication. Yeah, so it is lifelong autism, and it affects different things. Their brains are wired differently, so that's what it is. So it's not like the same as neurotypical. So yeah,
Which is great anyway. Yeah. We love that. Like you said, it humbled you. It's humbled you.
right? It humbles me. Yeah, they're so simple, and sometimes I feel like I wish we could all be simple like that. So yeah, that's right. So no, they bring a lot of joy and differences into the world and the way we see the world. So yeah, but that's autism.
Fantastic. Well, Joline, I'm so honoured to have you on here and talking about this. I think we need to bring awareness to it. So thank you so much. Listeners, please go and check out Help You Cope. They're doing so much for the community. Give them a visit. If you need some help, they're there to support you. Joline, do you just want to tell them your website?
So they can connect with us on socials at Help You Cope. That's on Facebook, Instagram, and also our website is helpyoucope.com.au if you want to see upcoming events. And we also, our DMs are open, or we've got a phone number if anyone wants to contact us. Happy to help them with any resources or information.
Well, I commend you. I think you're doing such great work, turning your pain into purpose. I wish you nothing but the best, and you're beautiful, Mr. J. Thank you for sharing your beautiful story on Still Standing, Still Speaking. Just before we go, do you mind just looking into the camera and telling everyone why you're still standing?
I'm still standing because my son needs me. And if I'm not his number one advocate, who would be? He needs me. So I will never stop standing for my boy.
We are still standing, still speaking. Thank you. Oh, thanks so much, you too.
Joline, thank you for sharing your story and for the work you're doing for carers who so often feel unseen. If today's conversation moved you, go check out Help You Cope and see how you can support what Joline's building.
Still stand, still